Happy Friday, everybody. I hope you're ready for the long weekend, Labor Day weekend. I'll just remind you in this time of world turmoil that this holiday is to allow us to pay tribute to the American worker and their achievements. So in addition to the unofficial end of summer, a big thank you to all American workers. In today's era of what seems to be the reversing of globalization of the world economy, the American worker is more important than ever, so thank you very much. Today is September 2nd, 2022, and this is your Friday planning video. As we move into the final month of the third quarter, this is the time we start computing required minimum distributions for you. Remember, the new age for RMD is 72. We're going to be in touch with you soon on those numbers. Last week I spoke about student loan forgiveness plan, that plan that just came out. Feel free to go back to that video if you have any questions on it. It is an evolving story, but if you or someone you know has loans, it may be helpful to look at that. This week I want to touch on another great college savings vehicle. And I know that you all think you know what I'm going to say, the 529 plan, right? Well, we've spoken about that a lot, and for good reason. As the kiddos all go back to school, the tuition bills are front and center, and we're searching for ways to best pay for those expenses. The 529 plan is great, and if you need any information on those, please contact me. I've been working with 529 plans for many, many years, and they are somewhat confusing sometimes, but they can be great if they fit into your plan. I want to talk about the other great college savings vehicle, the Roth IRA. What? You may say, did you say the Roth IRA? Yes, the Roth IRA. Let me explain it to you. First, now please don't understand me, the 529 is possibly one of the best tools to come out of Washington in 30 years, but like anything, it is prudent to keep our eyes open to all the available tools in the toolbox. Overall, the Roth IRA is the sleeper in the college savings world. I'm not suggesting we rate our retirement funds for college costs, but if you're looking at your overall financial plan, considering the Roth as a source of education funding may be a smart way to go. So based on all the videos and even the coffee chat during COVID that I've done in 529s, you may wonder why I would even suggest Roths for this purpose. So allow me to explain. As always, I do not give personal tax advice, but we'll be happy to work with you and your tax advisor on this and other tax-related subjects. So, first, Roth IRAs are not included as an asset on the FAFSA forms. If you're going to consider financial aid within the over 100 questions on the form, financial assets are disclosed and used to compute the EFC, or expected family contribution. But the Roth IRA, along with other retirement accounts, are not considered in that calculation. 529 plans are included, not at the same levels as all assets, but they are included in the assets that will be used to compute the EFC. The Roth is not. Another reason why Roths may be considered is the fact that Roths are often more flexible in many, many different ways. First, as you probably know by now, the 529 proceeds will be tax-free withdrawals for as long as they are qualified education expenses. If any reason your expenses are not in that category, the withdrawal will not only become taxable, but it could incur a 10% penalty as well. So what's the problem with this, you may ask? As you know, it is ingrained in us to start saving for our children's education early. So what if you put away too much money? Well, first of all, we do plan for these things, so we can watch for that. But if it does happen, there are a few options built into the 529 plan. First, the plan can be transferred to other relatives for their qualified education expenses. This is especially useful with siblings. And second, the plan doesn't have to be distributed in this generation, so it can be a legacy for grandchildren's education. With all that, the Roth does not run into these issues. The tax-efficient 529 can turn into a nightmare if you don't have an educational use for it. The Roth does allow flexibility in a way that the 529 does not. It can still offer tax-free withdrawals for non-qualified expenses. As with anything in this realm, there are details. If you're over 59.5, any Roth distributions are tax-free as long as it's been there for over 5 years. This will be tax-free regardless of what you use it for, qualified education expenses or not. Again, I'm not recommending you use your Roth IRA education savings for a new barbecue grill, but the flexibility that this provides when you're doing your planning is vast. If for some reason you have oversaved for education or you need this money for an expense that's not qualified, this vehicle provides that access. Speaking of flexibility, I do want to mention quickly that the Roth IRA has a much larger list of investments that can be used versus the 529 plans. They're usually state-specific and most of the time are single mutual fund family-specific. What if you're under age 59.5, you may ask? The Roth rules allow for all Roth contributions to be withdrawn at any age, at any time, 100% tax and penalty-free. Specifically, again, the contribution amounts. On that note, this is also true of converted Roth accounts. We've spoken a lot about those in the last couple of months. as long as they have been converted for over 5 years or more, they also can be withdrawn, even if you're under age 59 and a half. Not the growth, still, again, just the contribution amount. This is not all one-sided. A few kinks here. First, the contribution limits for 529s are higher than Roth IRAs, so it takes longer to amass the funds. And second, the withdrawal from the Roth is counted as income for the FAFSA purposes. So is the 529 withdrawal, so it'll affect the financial aid eligibility. One workaround that some people use is that the student takes loans for education, and then after the schooling is complete, thus the FAFSA is no longer in play, you can use the Roth distributions to pay off the loans. Now, I'm not going to push one way or the other on the loan side, but note that the interest on the loans could be deductible, as well as an asset, as well as it can assist in the beginning of building credit for those students. So as always, there's a lot of details and a lot of options. I just want to add one more to the college savings plans that we are all looking at as the tuition bills roll in. It is often a combination of these plans that make the most sense. So let's talk about how to use it for your education savings. As always, please call me with any questions. Let's talk with your tax advisor and see where it may fit into your plan. Come back Tuesday this time for the post-Labor Day market update video. Have a great long weekend. We'll see you then.